Hey everybody, Rob from Premier Fitness and Massage. I am here at Broadview University in Orem today in the Massage Therapy Lab. This is where I'm the head of the Massage Therapy Department. I wanted to share some of the tips and things, the rules that we give out to our deep tissue students, mainly because deep tissue and foam rolling go hand in hand. Foam rolling was meant to mimic a deep tissue massage, so it's kind of nice to know these simple basic rules so that you gain the most benefit from your foam rolling and the least amount of damage. This is one of the big problems I see with our fitness industry is my fellow personal trainers who have zero hands-on technique, education whatsoever, are teaching their clients how to foam roll when they themselves have no clue what they're doing. So I wanted to kind of give you some tips from a massage therapist on how you can do your best with that foam rolling. First rule is the deeper you go, the slower you should go. So one of the big things that I see with people doing is they'll get that foam roller, they'll lay down on their IT band, and they just go up and down really, really quick. The problem with this is you're not giving the tissue time to change. You're basically barreling through tissue, trying to force it to do something that it really is going to do the opposite. Okay? If it's feeling like it's getting attacked, it's going to tighten up. Okay? And that's typically what happens. So people will come to me and they say, I've been foam rolling every day for months, and it's not changing. Well, you're probably creating more problems than you're doing good for it. So with the thing that we tell our students is think about doing maybe an inch per second. Okay? Go nice and slow. You need to work with the pace that your body gives you. So if you're rolling through and you feel like you're getting to a sticky spot, and the more you practice this, the more you'll be able to feel through that foam roller. You'll find those sticky spots where you can just tell that your body wants you to go slower, or that you're going to have to move at a slower pace. Okay? You just got to listen to your body and trust it. You can't force it to do anything. With this, if you're doing a pre-workout rolling session and you're just going to go a little bit light because you just want to get things moving, you can go a little faster. That's fine. Just got to keep in mind that the deeper you're going to go, the slower you need to go. Okay? That's just a simple, basic law in massage. You can't make your way through the layers, the depth of the tissue really, really quickly. You've got to make your way through it at the pace that it gives you. So start out light, sink in a little bit more, sink in a little bit more, go slower, and then the next thing you know, you'll be working at those deep levels and you'll be getting that change that you want. Second rule is when you're working on the arms and legs, okay, only go up. This is another big thing that I see that scares me to death when I see people with foam rollers. In your arms and in your legs, if you look at your blood vessels, okay, your veins specifically, your body has to somehow get blood from your feet and your legs back all the way up to your heart, fighting gravity. So the way that your veins do that is they have these little valves, okay, that they just come to a point like that. As the blood is pumped, that vein will open up, okay, to allow that blood to go up, and then they close back again to prevent the blood from falling back down. We want to help that process. We don't want to go against it. So when you start at, say, your heel, and you sink that foam roller in, and you roll up the back of your calf, you're helping with that venous blood return. Whereas if you were to start at the top and roll down, you're going to be forcing that blood to blow through these valves, and those poor valves then blow out, right? Which means whenever your body pumps blood up through that section of that valve, it just falls back down through. Okay? This can lead to varicose veins and blood pooling and all sorts of things. Okay? So we want to avoid this as much as possible. So think again, you're going to sink in at whatever, just above the joint that you're going to work on. Sink in, apply the pressure as you roll up that segment, take the weight off, reset, sink back in, roll up, okay? And that'll help with that venous blood return. Third rule is we need to work within our pain scale, okay? If you think of a 1 to 10 pain scale where 1 is no pain, 10 is intense pain, okay? This is what we usually talk to our clients with, when we tell them that let's work through a scale so you can give me a number so I know how deeply I can work on you, at least as we work through the areas. So typically with deep tissue, we kind of want to be somewhere 7 to 8. That's kind of our magic range that we want to be in. Often we say that 7 is that hurts so good section, that yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but it feels good. We can tell that it's releasing the area. The 8 range is where we usually work when we're doing more corrective work, the trigger point therapies, some myofascial release, things like that, where it's uncomfortable, but it's tolerable. Okay. Once you get to 9, 9 is where you start to hold your breath, where you start to tighten up another area. You know, if you're working on your legs and your arm is tightening up in response to it because it's too much pressure. So if you're grimacing, if you're holding your breath, if you're biting your lips, you're doing too much. Okay, back off a little bit. If you're doing your leg, put some more weight on the other leg. Take some of that pressure off. Some people will cross their legs as they're doing work. Uncross that leg, take some of the weight off, and work at your body's response level. Problem with working up too high with this is your body's feeling like it's being attacked, so it's going to respond. We don't want those negative effects to happen. We want to work within our body's comfort zone. Okay. Again, being a little bit uncomfortable is fine, as long as it's tolerable. You're not compensating for that somewhere else. Okay. That's one of our big keys with deep tissue with our clients is no. Like if you're in pain, no gain rule doesn't apply here. Okay. If you're in pain, you're causing other problems. Okay, so we want to avoid that as much as possible. The 4th rule, and you're probably not going to like me from this one, but how can I put this? You probably don't know what you need to roll out. Okay. I've posted videos, there's tons of other videos on the web that says, this is how you foam roll the hamstrings, this is how you foam roll, for me, or the pec minor, or this or that. That's great, but that video may not apply to you. Okay? Not everybody's hamstrings need to be lengthened. We all can reach down and feel, oh, my hamstrings feel tight. That's okay. They might feel tight, but that doesn't mean that they need to be worked on in that direction. So with this, I would recommend going to some kind of professional. So go to a physical therapist, a physiotherapist, a massage therapist that focuses on structural body work. Get a recommendation from them. They will be able to tell you by assessing your posture, doing physical palpations, range of motion tests, anything like that. They'll be able to tell you, this muscle is tight, you need to work on this one. This one is being pulled tight because the other things are out of alignment. So yes, it feels tight, but it's only tight because you've taken that tissue and pulled it. And so yeah, it's tight, it's stretched out. You need to be able to know the difference between those two. If I were to give you an example here, if I had a client come in with a very extreme anterior pelvic tilt, okay, which is a very common posture in America here, what this does is this takes the attachment side of our hamstrings down here and below our glutes at our sit bones, and it pulls it up. Okay, so it's lengthening out our hamstrings. So yeah, my hamstrings are going to feel tight in this position. That doesn't mean that they need to be rolled out. We need to work the opposite group that's shortened, okay, that's concentrically tight. Okay, so my hip flexors, if I roll them out, that can help. It plays a role in letting my pelvis sit back neutrally, and it takes that tension off of the hamstrings. So you really need to have your posture assessed in that manner to know exactly what needs to be rolled out. So if you're constantly rolling out your hamstrings because they feel tight and you're doing really deep work, even if you're going nice and slow, you're going with the direction, you're staying within that 7 to 8 range, you might be causing your problems more damage because you're actually lengthening out a muscle that's already long. Okay? So if you have that anterior tilt and your hamstrings are trying to provide resistance in going further into a tilt and you're lengthening them out, that posture is going to get worse and worse and worse. Okay? So we don't want to work on a muscle that doesn't need work. It needs balancing. Okay? So this is why I recommend you go see some kind of professional and get a plan worked out for you specifically, and not just say, my shoulder hurts, here's a video of all these foam rolling tips or lacrosse ball work for the shoulder. Because it's the same thing. Your shoulder is a very it's a joint that there's a lot of components to it. I mean, there's a good upward of 20 muscles in there, and if you're working the wrong set just because it feels tight, you can be making the problem worse. Okay? You've got to think, is my joint being pulled in a certain direction out of neutral? Okay, I need to work the muscles that are short, not the ones that are long. Okay? So if you have any questions on that, feel free to contact us. We do online personal training, online consulting, where we can do Skype sessions, FaceTime sessions. We can even help you create a plan based off of that. There have been numerous times where I've done a Skype session or a FaceTime session with somebody, and we've been able to do an assessment on them. Oh, you've got shoulder pain, let's look at it. I have them stand at different angles. You can usually get a pretty good idea on what's going on with somebody based off of where the pain is and how it looks. It's preferable if, you can get your hands on somebody, but a visual assessment is much better than just rolling blindly. Okay? Let us know if you have any questions. The website that we're at is premierfitnessmassage.com. You can check out our other videos on the YouTube channel, and then like us on Facebook at Premier FM.